of first story of the day, we wanted to kind of really share a little bit more of kind of the impact that our groups are having. And I thought that what's happening in Maryland right now is super exciting with Cheryl Sachs and John Edward and Nina Bondry, who's on the call. They had some great media coverage. They've got a bill introduced. And so I wanted to share the news coverage they had recently as a way to kind of kick the call off. And then if Emmy is able to join us, she was going to share a little bit about her Ohio,
that wasn't
on behalf of her son Louis. So let me pull up the video here. All right. Well, you guys can see that.
Physically active shouldn't have to break the bank. And we're not talking about overpriced gym memberships or expensive health food.
For the disabled community, it's just about access to the right equipment. WMAR2 News' Elizabeth Worthington shows us how an Annapolis Marine vet is fighting to make it less expensive.
John Edward Heath may have lost a leg, but now he has 6, each specialized for a different sport.
Okay, so this one is specifically for distance running. So I use this for Olympic weightlifting, snowboarding, and surfing. This is a very stiff one. You cannot run long distance with this.
This technology has allowed Heath to become a professional adaptive athlete, and quickly. In 2016, he was hit by a drunk driver. After 5 years of doctors trying to reconstruct his leg, he finally opted to amputate in 2021. He's now a top qualifier for the 2024 Paralympics. He has exceptional athletic prowess, no doubt about that. But even someone with the same disability who matches him in strength might not match him in means. After serving in the Marines for 10 years, his prosthetics are covered by the VA.
To realize that the average person I was competing with, especially at the international level, they only had one leg. Here I am coming in with a suitcase full of prosthetics, and I started to realize that it's not as common.
But he believes it should be. He's fighting for legislative change at the state level alongside a clinician at Linthicum-based prosthetic company Dankmeyer Inc.
So in Maryland, insurance companies are required to pay for kind of baseline prosthetic and orthotic devices for patients.
But after that, you're on your own. Want a backup in case you rip the sleeve of your prosthetic on the playground? Want one made that will allow you to ride a bike, do yoga, swim? Well, it's not medically necessary, so insurance most likely won't cover it. And we're talking about costs that will make your head spin.
So I just got back from Florida. They gave me all brand new sockets. I got a brand new foot, for my walking foot. I got a brand new blade because I broke it. In the 5 days that I was there, $35,000. And that's just sockets and sleeves. So if you're talking these numbers, why would you want to be actively fit if you don't have the coverage?
A change to state law would require insurance companies to cover things like an additional prosthetic device for physical activity. Heath and Sachs got the support of 2 senators and a House delegate. The bill was introduced in the Senate today.
We're very optimistic that this will move forward because not only is it the right thing, but we've also found through research that the fiscal impact on the state and on the insurance companies is so minimal.
For the disabled community, the technology is out there.
They'll be able to go longer. They won't fatigue as quick.
The inspiration is out there.
I think it's important for me to fight for this.
Now they just need the law to catch up. In Baltimore, Elizabeth Worthington, WMAR2 News.
Amazing.
All right. So wanted to share that. I think the approach Maryland's taking is fantastic, including veterans in this, fight for access. I think that's something that can speak to both sides of the aisle, in addition to having children, that they have a great spokesperson, a young boy, believe he's in 5th grade, named Nate. So they're on their way to their first committee. I'm not going to give too much away because Cheryl will give the full update, but wanted to share that news story and just encourage everyone to reach out because this is a great story to tell as you guys are digging in to your legislative work. I want to see if Emmy is on the call yet. Emmy Brown, I do see you, Emmy. Are you able to unmute and share your story?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So my son's name is Louis, and we got connected through Autumn and Kaylee here in the state of Ohio. And our son was born without tibias in both of his legs, and so he had bilateral amputation when he was 11 months old. And we have had all sorts of highs and lows with his journey as he's 3 years old, and we're so thankful that we got connected to this great project and organization, because we've already seen how difficult it is for him to have access to prosthetics that actually meet his needs. And so, yeah, we're just excited to learn and be a part of the project. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Emmy. And I know you shared a little video with me of Louis, and I'll see if I can bring that up here because I think everyone would love to see that. All right, here's Louis. Looks like he's eating as he's walking.
Anything to motivate a 3-year-old, right?
I love that. He's doing great. And he also has bilateral running blades. That's something that you guys have been able to get through charitable support. Is that right?
Yes, the Jordan Thomas Foundation helps fund us. We actually go down to a clinic in Orlando, which we also wouldn't be able to have access to if it weren't for all the work that they do. And yeah, we were told from a young age that he would not be able to have access to those things till he was much older, and that it wasn't possible because he's only 2 and he can't handle that kind of a prosthetic. And of course, you know, at 2 years old, he had one and he was thriving right away. So yeah.
That's amazing to see. And kudos to you guys in Ohio for all the advocacy that you guys are doing with Autumn and Kaylee, your leadership there as well. Thank you guys. So just wanted to start off the call with a couple of those stories of what's happening on the ground. And we can kind of dig into our national updates, and then we'll share around the room for our state updates. Just a quick update in terms of the fiscal and social impact report. I know that we've been chatting about this for a few months now, and I want to give a lot of credit and kudos to Shanice, who has been in the trenches working on that report. We had some we just got off a call with Shanice, and it is in the final stretch, the report, but we had some kind of a new methodology that needed to be built as a result of Minnesota's fiscal and social impact report being delivered. And so Shanice has been, taking the information from that and making the report even better than what she had it before. So I think it's been incredible to see kind of that report from Minnesota come out so that we could have some more kind of comprehensive information in regards to what she was previously using, which was the main report, which was much more specific than Minnesota's, which includes orthotics, includes prosthetics, includes all ages, recreational, and insurance fairness. So really excited that that's in the home stretch now and that we'll have that report this month. Cheryl, I see you've got your hand raised.
Okay, that was my question. You said the report will be ready this month. I was just going to see if you had a date.
Yes, it will be this month. I know Shanice is working very hard on it right now. I don't want to promise a date without her kind of chiming in to share the exact date, but I know it's going to be this month. So there's the update there. In terms of our website, I wanted to kind of share a quick sneak peek of the So Everybody Can Move website, if I can bring that up here. This is also something that has taken a little bit longer than we thought, but we're really excited with how it's turning out. And it's going to be, a much bigger website than I think we had first anticipated, but really excited for the capabilities that it has to get the word out. So this is kind of the home screen. We're going to have ways for people to get involved and fill out an intake form that we will then share with all of you guys on the ground. It goes into kind of the background of what the problem is that we're trying to solve and how our work is the solution for systemic change. One of my favorite parts of the website is this kind of interactive map that people are going to be able to utilize in order to see kind of where every state is at in the process. So for example, being able to see that Colorado's bill, kind of all of the information about that one specifically versus another state maybe that has introduced legislation, and others, like if someone wants to get involved to kind of fill out a form and learn more that way. we've got kind of information on ways to get involved as sponsors, and then a lot of stories of individuals who have, specific challenges and barriers to accessing this care. So we're really excited to be able to showcase that on the site as well. As an example, we've got state pages that each state that has requested one will have. Colorado, as an example, we can pull theirs up and just show that it has kind of information on the bill itself. It can link off to the bill and a way for individuals to contact the representatives if applicable to that specific state. It's got the lead advocate team and ways to get in touch with them, kind of what the bill does, and again, kind of the narratives from people specifically in that state. So really excited at how comprehensive this website has become, and it's going to be great once we can get it launched, and which will be our goal is this month as well. So both for the website and for the fiscal and social impact report. There's also going to be a way for people to get involved, whether that's through donating or, kind of this way of looking at, if they can give 2 minutes of their time, 10 minutes, or an hour, different ways that they can help. So wanted to share that kind of sneak peek of the website. We're really excited to get that launched. The website link is live, so you can go to soeverybodycanmove.org and sign up and subscribe to our future newsletters and continue to share that link with others. But then once we have the full site live and launched, that's kind of what it will be looking like. So excited. Thank you all for the information that you've given us to get the website where it is. And of course, as you guys get more content or want things updated, we'll be able to update that as we move forward with the site. All right. For the next item on our agenda, I wanted to pass it over to Sam to chat a little bit about an item that has come to our attention in terms of kind of this direct access legislation, and just kind of bringing that into discussion to talk about, the pros and cons of that for the initiative.
Yes, thank you, Nicole. So as Nicole mentioned, there have been there's a provision or kind of policy that's surfaced in a couple of states by both kind of the brainstorming process for model legislation, as well as kind of So Everybody Can Move bills that have been introduced separately from the initiative that we've identified. And these provisions essentially allow for allied health professionals, OTs, PTs, orthotists, prosthetists, etc., to diagnose, prescribe, and treat patients without referral from a physician. I think that we wanted to kind of speak from the perspective of the national partners. While we think this policy does have, good intentions of, increasing access to patient care, we would recommend against including direct access in model legislation. We do think that, notes from allied health professionals should support physician determinations of medical necessity, but there is some drawbacks to it as part of this initiative. There's some potential to cause a little bit of alarm among physician groups about scope of practice, which can, be a little bit of it could be a problem for the initiative at the state or national level if these kind of powerful physician groups decide to weigh in on things. And I think on a larger level, it's kind of an issue of scope creep, of just making sure that the initiative really accomplishes its main objective of ensuring access to physical activity, while making sure that we're not necessarily adding in excessive extra provisions to the point of like non-viability, essentially. I think that there are a lot of different bills as part of this initiative, and they're all a little bit different. They all have a few different unique provisions in them, and I think that is something that we should absolutely be discussing as an initiative to help bring about, innovative policy solutions. And we can it's a good way to, you know, iterate as we go on in this initiative to find new things and to try them out and see what we think might be helpful for patients. But I think that's something that we'd recommend folks do in consultation with national partners who can kind of see the national level perspective on things. But yeah.
Great, thank you, Sam. And hopefully this isn't too much in the weeds for everyone, but just something that we wanted to flag as we're going forward with So Everybody Can Move, and the intention of the initiative in really expanding access to prosthetic and orthotic care for physical activity, making sure that we're not adding too much into the bills that it creates a bill that would just be dead on arrival in a sense, or have this kind of scope creep. I don't know if anyone has any questions on that at this point, but just something we wanted to flag. Okay, great. All right, and then the next kind of national update, I want to pass the mic over to Whitney Doyle, who has an opportunity for some training for lead advocates. Whitney, would you like to share a little more about that?
Absolutely. Thank you, Nicole. This is Whitney Doyle, Director of Advocacy and Government Relations at the Amputee Coalition. I hope you all are familiar with the Amputee Coalition's Lead Advocate program, where essentially we are taking volunteers who are interested in systems advocacy and training them up on how to talk to their legislators and how to follow bills and all of that jazz, which is a perfect connection to all of us doing this work, which is why I wanted to make sure you all were aware. I think I've already sent you an email, and there will be more emails coming your way, but we are opening a cohort for training starting March 4th to train new volunteers to get them up and going. So if there's anyone who has limb loss and limb difference that you're working with that would benefit from taking this training, or anyone in your network that you think would be interested in learning how to do systems advocacy work, we would love to have them. I will make sure after this call that I send out, or I can send it to Nicole actually to send out in the follow-up with the meeting minutes, the information on how to log in to sign up for the training. And we also have a list of targeted states that we're trying to reach out to where we have either no certified lead advocates or very few. And again, this is all in coalition building, so that as we're getting the So Everybody Can Move networks up and running in each state, we have some people who we know are trained and ready to go. So I'll drop the list of states that we are really looking for people, but we're not turning anybody away. I'll drop the list in the chat. But yeah, that's my update, and I'll send you all more information and make sure you have it in your inboxes. And if you have any more questions, please reach out to me. I'd love to answer them and get some people signed up.
Awesome. Thank you, Whitney. And definitely think that's, synergistic to the work we're doing in terms of building the foundation and infrastructure of advocates across the country, so that when a So Everybody Can Move bill comes to your state, we have a pool of people that we can draw on that are trained. And one thing that Whitney and I have discussed in the past, and would be curious by, show of hands, or, if people are interested in this, is kind of having a tailored So Everybody Can Move advocacy training that would be for individuals beyond the limb loss community, but for this group as well. So I don't know if there's any interest in that in the future, but definitely keep us in the loop if that's something that you might be interested in, and we could offer that in the future. But for now, definitely want to plug what Whitney's doing with the lead advocate training for the Amputee Coalition.
Nicole, this is Peter Thomas. Sorry, I joined late, but when you say a targeted training, do you mean a generic training that applies to any state, or do you mean more of a specific state-based training based on whatever the underlying bill says? I mean, what exactly are you thinking there?
Yeah, I think it would depend on the interest that we have for the group. But if there's a large amount of interest, we could make it more generic to kind of So Everybody Can Move and go through, different aspects of the bill. But if there is an interest in state-specific training, we could potentially offer something like that. I think it just depends on the level of interest and bandwidth we have to meet that.
Thank you.
Peter, this might be a great time too to plug the fellowship, as we're talking about kind of training and ways for advocates to take their work to the next level.
Well, I was eating my lunch, but if I'm going to plug the fellowship, I'm coming on video. So thank you very much, Nicole, for allowing me to say a few words about the fellowship. The National Association for the Advancement of Orthotics and Prosthetics has been in existence now since 1987, and about 5 years ago, we started a fellowship. In fact, Nicole was the first inaugural fellow. It's called the George and Dina Brees Fellowship, Health Policy Fellowship. The person comes into town. It's competitively selected. Applications are now open. The applications close. The deadline is February the 19th. So we encourage you to go to the NAAOP website, www.naaop.com. I'm sorry, .org, and just look for the fellowship tab, and you'll be able to see the application there. It's designed for people who use an artificial limb or a custom orthotic brace, and who are interested in public policy, advocacy, want to come to Washington for the summer. It's a 10-week paid fellowship, and will assist with housing. There's a housing kind of stipend or allowance, because housing in DC can get kind of expensive. But ultimately, you'd be shadowing me in my law office and working on orthotic and prosthetic policy and advocacy within the broader context of disability and rehabilitation policy. So there's a lot of great experiences that you can gain from it. And if you have an interest in developing that skill, and you want to maybe even go into a career in this kind of field or this area, we hope you'll apply. And again, you've got about 17 days left to apply. So looking forward to getting as many high quality applications as possible. I wish we could choose more than just one, but it is related to, it is limited to just one fellow per year. So thank you very much for the opportunity, Nicole.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Peter, for plugging that. And for those of you who aren't individuals utilizing prosthetics or orthotics, feel free to pass it along to someone you might know. And just can't thank NAOP enough for the part from the fellowship back in 2018 was my fellowship year. So thanks, Peter. We'd love to jump into state updates now. And I will likely just kind of call in order of alphabetical order for states, but I know Keith had to leave before 1:30. So Keith, if you want to give the update for Missouri before you hop off, that'd be great.
That's great. Thanks so much, Nicole. So, and actually, just to start that off, we would probably be pretty interested in Missouri in that that training that you had mentioned as well, because we are new, and this is a exciting initiative for us. And boy, every time we meet under Andrew, I think is on the call as well. It's under Andrew Oberle's direction here. Boy, they're very energetic. It's a very robust agenda that grows, and it's really good. And we have found now where we're at in Missouri is that it's becoming very evident that we're going to need a state association at this point, or a state organization, just from a financial standpoint of being able to handle the financial responsibilities of collecting money and paying out to lobbyists, things of that nature. And the three things we really want to accomplish in Missouri is we're looking for an advocacy group, and then So Everybody Can Move initiative, and then any other legislation that comes through. Because when you're talking about direct access, for instance, a smaller city here in Missouri, there is that's where one of those initiatives is coming from. And we've been a little bit, I'm at an arm's length to that, because I'm not in a full support of that myself either, because I don't think, first off, we have the infrastructure to be able to do that. I think we also probably contradict a little bit of more Medicare guidelines and things by doing that at the state level. So we're a little concerned, and we're working through some of those issues, because we're also worried that may impact putting that bill out there, which is out there and being read, or has been read, could impact us. And we're not, I'm with what Ryan had mentioned. I'm a little bit nervous about what that could do impact wise for us as well, going forward with some of ours. So because of financial issues and trying to organize that, It became very evident that we took a step back after last month's call, and Jim Kaiser from the Illinois Society is on this call as well, has been helping me as well. We've now got a survey through the Survey Monkey that we're distributing to all of the facilities throughout Missouri to first find out what things are important to them. Second of all, would you be in a position where you would help financially support initiatives like Directly, this so everybody can move. And then we're coming back to Andrew's initiatives here and calls, and I think we'll be in a much better place. Because again, like I said, we're very excited. We got lots of cool things, but it's becoming very evident that we have got to get more organized and have a group of facilities and O&P providers to be a big part of this. 'Cause I think to be successful, we're going to need that story of our patients, but then I think our patients are also going to need the backing of it's going to need to be a very cohesive type of relationship. And again, the thing that we have is when we look at that bill you were talking about, direct access. I mean, while that sounds like, well, it's fantastic, I don't know if it's achievable, and I also don't know even if it's achievable. Sometimes I've been kind of torn, like that might not really be the best. We're not ready for something like that. There's no way to handle that as of yet. And so that's why we think that right now we're putting the initiative into developing our organization. And again, thanks to, I think Jim's on the phone call today, huge thanks go to Jim, because he's helping me out with the experience he's had over the last 30 years with the ISOP to help here in Missouri. So hopefully next month we'll say that we've got this organization together, and we're back with Andrew and proceeding forward with this initiative is really at the forefront.
Awesome. Thank you, Keith. Andrew, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, just to add on to what Keith was saying, thank you for sharing that update, Keith. Yeah, everything he said, we're all looking forward to seeing the results of putting the organization back together, because it was an existing, or at least there was something existing in Missouri previously. But I'm really excited to see what Keith and gang are able to put together. And another reason we knew we needed to go this route as far as support is when we get to that phase where we need to do some fundraising, we need to have some sort of an organization to where those funds can go, so we can potentially get a lobbyist's help and things of that nature that require those funds. So this was all, while it pushes us back a little bit, it's going to be totally worth the little extra weight that we need to do.
Absolutely. And it was great to be on that call with you guys, with Jim Kaiser. I just wanted to kind of share what he said, because I think it's so important to everyone on this call and kind of initiative to be reminded of the importance of having the infrastructure that can support this type of work. But really, Jim said it best, where what he's seen in his career that works best is having kind of the O&P organization that can kind of be pushing from behind, while having the advocacy group of people with limb loss and limb difference out in front and kind of working together, but making sure that the people who are having the lived experience are really, their stories are centered out in front. And that's kind of what is pushing the bill, but making sure to have kind of the O&P organization supporting them from behind, whether that's through financially or through the kind of the legislative side of things with the lobbyists. Really that dynamic creates something that can be really powerful for getting a bill across the finish line. So just wanted to kind of share that from Jim Kaiser. I thought that was great advice. All right. Well, thanks, Missouri. Let's see if Arizona, do we have Jeff Elms, Eric Burns, or Lucas on the call?
Eric Burns is here.
Oh, hey, Eric. Yeah, would love an update.
So we've actually been working to build a coalition of other providers and patients and stakeholders in the amputee population to get so we can move rolling. We've reached out. We have a call with the lobbyists next week. And so we're really building at the organizational stages right now. And I feel a lot of momentum as we're all starting to talk the same language and get on the same page with everybody involved in the state. So it's kind of a big deal for us. We're all communicating and starting to build that coalition, which will be huge down the road as we advance this next session.
Awesome. Great update. Love that. I know you guys have some neighbors in New Mexico and Colorado to push your legislative work forward too, which is great to have that kind of geographically. All right. Nice. All right, heading over to California. Jim, I see you're on the call. Love your photo of you scuba diving. That's awesome. Would you be willing to share an update for California? I don't know if we can hear you if you are speaking. Maybe we can come back to you. All right, we will pass for now, and if you're able to get your microphone working, we'll come back. All right, for Connecticut, we've got Herb and Lindy. Oh.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, Herb had to jump off for another meeting, but I can give the update for Connecticut. So we have been very active meeting with our local legislators. Herb is a great champion for this. And he's been speaking to the co-chair of the insurance committee, who promised to introduce a bill either this month or next month. So we're optimistic that we have a lot of support just from Herb's local area and mine as well. I was at a local meeting, and a few of the legislators said this is a no-brainer. So we're optimistic that sentiment is felt and we can get things moving. From a marketing standpoint, we held a photo shoot last weekend. We had 5 courageous models with limb loss show up. And if you'll allow me, if this will work, I'd like to share some of those, if that's okay. So just wanting to capture some great images of our athletes using their prostheses in various ways. I think it'll be really helpful.
Yes, you should have sharing ability now. Thank you, Joy, for giving Lindy that.
Okay, can people see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay, here we go. Now we're sharing. So we were able to use the University of Hartford facilities. The basketball team had the day off, so we captured people with whatever they were able to bring for their own personal equipment. We would have loved to have like t-shirts for everyone, but I know we're not quite there yet. So we just kind of had fun playing around. It was a really snowy, icy day, but I think we got some really great shots that hopefully we can use locally, but also nationally if that would be helpful for the website and things. So, this was just our sneak peek. We have lots of images yet to come. Some really awesome advocates. Here's one. Corrine has done 6 triathlons. She's about to do 6 more this year. So really great images that we can use. We had a range of ages and abilities.
These are awesome. Very powerful.
Yeah, this one's my favorite. I think that shows like a really powerful image that will make an impact in our local area. So, just all sorts of different things. This is the best we could do in a New England winter. So.
Oh, I love it. I love the approach of bringing in some other sports into this too, because I think a lot of times we have a focus on maybe just running, but showcasing the other sports that are part of this effort. That's awesome. We don't really have that kind of imagery yet. So we'd love to incorporate more of that onto the website. And then once we get Connecticut's page on there as well, that'd be great.
Yeah, that's been a big effort too, is just collecting a little bit of the stories from these models and collecting it all to get on the website. So that was one of my questions, is just, should I send that over to you, or I have it all kind of consolidated, but what's the best way to get our page up and going?
Yeah, send all that content over to me. We are in the final stages of design with the design agency, so we would need that kind of ASAP if you want a page prior to launch, but otherwise we can add it after the launch of the website.
Okay. That is pretty much it from Connecticut.
Awesome. Great work, Lindy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Nicole, it looks like Jim got his microphone working.
Okay, great. Jim.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, it was really weird because my computer wouldn't allow me to unmute. I don't know why, but my cell phone does. So there you go. So in California, what a mess California is in. As you probably know, we were 150 billion to the goods 2 years ago. Now we're 68 billion in the hole. As a result, nobody wants to touch a new bill until they get some balance of the budget, which is just frustrating because we've been working at this for a couple of years to try to get this to happen. I have been working with Bryce, with CEOPA, and one of the things that we know is going to happen in March is there's going to be a rally with amputees. This has to do with Medicare, but we're getting some assemblymen there, and I believe we're working on a senator or two to get there. So we can try to get some traction so that when we can get to the aspect of getting this to move forward, then at least we'll have, some track record, so to speak. So that's where we're at. It's just really saddening to see that the reason they shut this down is because they're willing to give money away to everybody else, but they don't want to talk to us. I'm sorry. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, that's challenging to navigate. I know Indiana's kind of facing the same hurdle right now with their Medicaid program being in the hole as well. So thanks for your work in California, and hopefully, in a year's time, they might be at a different position and continuing to work with COPA. I know they bring a lot of strength to the table for this too.
Sure.
Awesome. Thank you for the update. All right, we've got Georgia, Krista Lee and Rachel.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, we don't have a ton of traction, but we do have a draft bill that has been finalized. So we all, and I know you guys can imagine getting everyone to agree on one way to say something. It can take a little bit of time, but between Kat Yee, who is a clinician here in Georgia, and a handful of others, and Colleen, who is a physical therapist, along with Sam Miller, we sat and really got it down to exactly what we wanted to say. From that time, we have moved forward to speak with some people in legislation. Currently, our Congress is already in session, and I just heard back that they're not going to be able to move on anything currently. But in April and May, I have a meeting set up with a state senator who's willing to start considering moving forward with it. I'm interested in the team in Missouri who's starting the state organization to house their funds. We currently have a state organization, have reached out to them to house our funds for fundraising. And I was wondering how they were going to do it. That's one question that our organization had for us, is to report that kind of funds for the IRS with the tax ID that they have. They're not quite sure how to do that. So I don't know if anybody has any suggestions on that. I know many have used GoFundMe. Our state is not sure that's the right direction for us to go because of the fees that are involved in that. However, that's kind of where we are. We're moving forward and trying to, we have a PT day at the Capitol on the 6th. So Tuesday, we're all, Krista Lee, myself, and a colleague, Jenna Calamoris from Elevate on the O side is going to be there with us. And we're going to begin, hopefully, I think Madison from AOPA is going to help us get a one-page ready to go so we can at least have something to hand out and kind of talk about the direction we're going. Additionally, I have been in touch with the insurance commissioner to ensure we're using an Unfair Settlements Act to attach our bill to see if it should be an expansion or a redetermination. And at this time, the insurance commissioner's office is not going to get involved. So we're going to continue to move forward with a change in legislation.
Great. Thank you guys for that update. I believe Keith had to jump off from Missouri, so we might be able to connect you guys via email. But I know if Angela Montgomery's on the call, she's also provided some guidance to other states in terms of setting up a local association. So she might have some advice in the future as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi,
happy to help,
Madison
Nicole.
McTurnan here. Sorry, Angela. I did just want to point out that the Georgia one-pager fact sheet is moving along. So we got some great information from you guys this week.
Thank you, Madison. Appreciate that.
Awesome. Thanks, Maddie. Angela?
I was just saying I'm happy to be helpful. We can connect offline.
That sounds great. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Great. And I think I skipped over Florida. So Arlene and anyone from Florida who wants to give an update.
Hello, everyone. We actually had a very active week. We went up to Tallahassee. A session has started, and we were able to introduce SB 828 and HB 1003. And unfortunately, the temperature is just not where it needs to be in order to be successful to move this year. So it has been tabled to next year. We did spend the day out there socializing the bill and trying to create some strategy around what we're going to do for next year. We received the report and the numbers in a draft form, and for the state of Florida, it was just really very costly. So we're going to review those numbers and figure out a strategy and how to present it properly. And there's some folks in leadership that are just not willing to bend this year on the House side. So those circumstances will change for us next year. And we're going to hopefully be able to be successful in next year's session. But we had a great day and we're able to socialize it. And everybody in Florida is really talking about this, and we're going to figure out a strategy to make it work.
Great. Thank you for the update, Arlene. All right, we've got Kentucky, Megan Ledwick. Are you on the call? Not sure if we've got an update there. We can move on to Massachusetts with Maggie.
Yeah, hey Nicole, thanks for the opportunity to update. So we've had some good movement in Massachusetts. Our bill has been kind of stuck, maybe that's not the right word, but been in review with the committee for a while now. We provided testimony a couple months ago, and it still hasn't come out of that committee, but we did hear that they're supposed to come out or at least ask for an extension next week. So things are hopefully moving along there. We also had somebody from the MSOP, a member, actually meet this week with somebody with limb loss and the chair of that particular committee where it's still sitting. And they said they had a really good meeting and that he is all in favor of this bill. So hopefully we get some good news about that soon. The chair also recommended having, a rally type day similar to what other states have had at the state capitol in March. So we'll be looking into potentially doing that. We've had a few more legislators sign on to the bill as well in the interim. So all looking good, just kind of waiting on some final decisions from that committee. The other piece is that there could be some opportunities for some events that bring more attention to the effort. So there's the Bionic 5K coming up, where we thought maybe we could, have a table or a booth of some kind and do some promotion, get some folks there. I know you're coming to run the marathon in April, and so there might be some other opportunities there. And of course, you and I, Nicole and I, met with Leah Barrow, who's an attorney in Boston who has done some advocacy work on other bills. And she and her team have a lobbyist that they want us to meet with to kind of talk through some strategy there as well. So lots of good things, lots of movement, and just kind of, crossing our fingers and waiting for the next step.
Awesome. Thanks, Maggie. A lot of great stuff for Massachusetts. And yes, we're hoping to have some presence at the Boston Marathon with our partnership with On Running, who sponsored us this past year and are sponsoring us again, sponsoring the initiative again this year. So excited for that as well. And I believe, sorry, Megan, I believe you're unmuted now. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
So for Kentucky, we are still trying to look for a champion for our bill. One of the representatives we were working with, she is not going up for re-election, so we are kind of back to square one. We are working on doing a declaration of resolution of Limb Loss Awareness Month in April at the Capitol. So we are getting that language from the Amputee Coalition and sending that to one of our contacts to see if we're able to do that. And we're trying to get a couple of our patients go there with us as well. But we have all of our draft, but we are looking to introduce it in 2025.
Awesome. Great update. And a good reminder that April is Limb Loss and Limb Difference Awareness Month, and a good opportunity to kind of rally around that whole month, whether that's through a proclamation by the governor or doing a Hill Day or something of that nature in your state. All right, we've got Cheryl for Maryland.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
All right, wonderful. And I think two of our other lead advocates are on the call, Nina and Rochelle. So if I forget anything, please feel free to hop on. We are moving full steam ahead. It's honestly been a really crazy few weeks here, but our Senate bill was introduced a few weeks ago. We have a hearing in a week and a half. Our primary sponsor has been fantastic and happens to actually be the chair of the committee where our bill is being heard. So I'm working with her to put together a panel and testimony. Unfortunately, Peter can't join us, but Peter, I'm going to bother you for some written testimony. I've reached out to Sarah to coordinate that with you. Maryland also.
I'm actually exploring whether I can change the coalition meeting that I'm chairing.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
exploring it. Trying.
Okay, amazing.
It's not too late, is it?
No, in Maryland, you only have to let them know 24 hours in advance. So,
Okay.
yeah, so we're really kind of figuring out the process of how this works from a testifying standpoint. So Maryland has a system where if you want to submit written testimony, you have to create an account through the General Assembly, which is free. And then written testimony has to be uploaded, I believe it's for Senate hearings 24 hours before, House hearings 48 hours before. And then you have to basically sign up to testify at the actual hearing. So I'm figuring out some stuff with that. AOPA and the Amputee Coalition sent out call to actions for people to email the members of the committees, which is different than the written testimony. But again, the more support that they can hear, the better. I'm trying to think what else. So our senator feels very confident that the only thing that will prevent this from moving forward in Maryland is the lack of a fiscal impact report from the state. So we are really hoping, and I'm working with Shanice. Shanice is going to testify virtually at the hearing just to really speak to the efficacy of the research and the fiscal impact. I'd say probably the only other update is we are cross-filing. So our House bill was just read on the floor today. It has 10 co-sponsors. Half of them sit on the committee where the bill is being heard, as does our primary sponsor, and then the other half are just from his county. So they're just supporting him. He is more of a freshman member. So we've been working with our lobbyist. Again, we're very grassroots here in Maryland. So the lobbyist that we're using is the lobbyist for one of the hospital systems in the state. So we're not paying it anything. She's doing this because the chief of rehab said, I want you guys to support this. And she's been fantastic. The only other thing, and actually, if I can share my screen really quickly, as I kind of mentioned, the whole written testimony thing in Maryland is really weird. So the idea of telling individuals across the state that you need to upload your written testimony this way within 24 hours of the hearing, it's just not feasible at all. So with Kyle's help, what we've actually done is we have created a Google form. And what we have is, again, we're just introducing the legislation, having people do their support, just their information. We're asking for email and phone number, just in case they happen to be in the district of any of the committee members, and we can do follow-up afterwards. And then we're having them identify who they are. And what we're going to do is for anyone who doesn't want to or cannot submit individual written testimony, we're going to send letters that will have multiple sign-ons. So we'll have one from the OMP community, one from the allied health community, so doctors and physicians, physical therapists, social work, and then one from a patient's perspective. And then we have like an open-ended section, and what we're finding is as individuals are filling this out, they're actually giving us a few sentences that we can use to write the testimony. So they will have a voice. It's just not going to be their own letter. So yeah, that's just wanted to share that in case it would be helpful for any of the other states. But we're very grassroots here, but we've made some really, really good progress. So
Congratulations, Cheryl. You guys are doing a great job in Maryland. What time is that hearing? Do you know?
So the hearing's at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Because our Our chair is, or our primary sponsor is the chair of the committee, and there are going to be two physicians. We have two physicians who have agreed to testify. We're thinking that she'll let us go first. So I think there are multiple bills that are announced for a 1 o'clock hearing. And you just kind of have to sit and wait for your turn. But I'm going to actually have a call with her right after this call. So I'm going to get a little bit more information about how that works. So
And it's
I will.
in Annapolis.
I'm sorry?
In Annapolis.
Yes, the hearing is
Yep.
in Annapolis. It's on the second floor of the Finance Committee. One of the patient advocates, John Edward, he was the one in the video. Him and I actually went to Annapolis a few days ago, just to kind of get our bearings and to meet a few
Great.
people. So our hearings in the
Congratulations.
afternoon. Thank you.
I'll
So
be in
yeah,
touch.
sounds good. Thank you, Peter. But yeah, our hearing is in the afternoon, and then with Kyle's help, we're actually going to set up some meetings in the morning with some of the members on the House side and the HGO committee. So for any states that don't have a state association and who don't have finances and just want to talk about what has and hasn't worked from us from a very, very grassroots effort, I'm happy to connect off this call. So thank you.
Amazing.
And Michelle, if I missed anything, let me know. Oh, and then I guess last thing is, Angela, if you're able to connect, Nicole said that your state, you guys had some key talking points for your primary sponsor. So if there's any advice you have from that standpoint, would love the feedback. So thank you.
Great.
Oh,
go ahead.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
I'm on the move, so my reception keeps coming in and out. But what's about testimony? Is that what you were just, Cheryl, what you were just saying?
Yeah, so our primary bill sponsor, I'm gonna help her with her testimony. When she presents to the committee, and Nicole was thinking that you might have some documents that you share with your sponsors that might be helpful when I prep our senator. So anything that you're willing to pass along would be great.
Okay, I did get that email and I forwarded it to our lobbyist just to see if she gave them anything in addition to what I know we had. So I'm waiting to hear back from her, and then I'll get back to you as soon as I hear.
Amazing. Really appreciate the support. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Cheryl. And I think what you guys have done from the lobbyist standpoint of kind of this backdoor approach of getting a lobbyist, I think is incredible, and definitely would recommend that to other states who might not have the funds. I know Oregon is looking into that approach as well. So you guys are in the sprint part of your marathon right now.
And what I say is nice about, and I think we also just got really lucky that the lobbyist for this hospital system happens to be fantastic. But when you have a lobbyist, and I know all lobbying firms are different, but she knows healthcare so well, because not only does she have relationships with all of the other hospitals across the state, she knows the payers, she knows the firms that are representing the insurance companies. It just so happens that the lobbyist we're using used to be the lobbyist for the Maryland Hospital Association. So again, if you don't have a lobbyist and you're looking to go through a firm, and the firm isn't necessarily familiar with what this legislation is trying to accomplish, if you go that other route, it may be beneficial. So
Yeah, may I also add that most state lobbyists, like federal lobbyists, are on retainer. And if they're working for a hospital association, my guess is that you'd probably be best going through a rehab hospital. But Cheryl, maybe, is that what you did through the rehab hospital?
So LifeBridge Health is a community hospital, but the connection was made by the physician who's the chief of the rehab department for the hospital system.
So the lobbyist is getting paid anyway all year long. And
yeah, she just added this to
their list.
Portfolio for session.
Right. It's a really good option for states that are having problems raising enough money to hire a specific lobbyist for this initiative.
Absolutely.
Great
feedback. Well, I know your hearing is on Valentine's Day, so we'll be sending you all lots of love for your hearing. Good luck. All right, passing it over to Terry for Minnesota.
Hi, thanks, Nicole. Hello to all. I welcome you to, when you have a moment, to go to our website. We've really spent the last 6 months beefing it up. It's msopp-mn.com. And maybe Nicole can put that in the chat group for me while I'm on it right now, because it's the best way for me to just breeze through what's going on in Minnesota. We've got, we're one of those states that has been in existence, this our society group, for about 15 years now. This is the 4th time we've gone to our capital with active legislation. 2 of the 3 prior times we were successful. We're super excited. Next week, they will start scheduling the committee hearings for the following week. So come about 10 days from now, February 12th, that is the week we're gonna hit the ground running, so to speak, for a good 6 weeks straight. We know we have our bills. We have a House bill and a Senate bill, and we know we have been told verbally that we will have committee hearings in Commerce, which is the first place we should be heard on both sides. So our bill is one of those chock full of absolutely everything in the kitchen sink. That's, we just decided we're going to go big and we're going to see how this goes. We have the full support of our governor. He has granted us the proclamation for April to be declared Limb Loss and Limb Difference Awareness Month. On March 13th, we have a rally at the Rotunda, at which point we have invited him to present it to us. It is March, but it would be for the month of April. And on that day, March 13th, we have our O&P Day at the Minnesota Capitol in support of our bills. We will be meeting with Minnesota legislators in the morning. We will have the rally at the Rotunda, where we will have the governor speak and hopefully, and our legislators speak, our authors. And we will have our amputee population there in hopefully in large numbers with our support of our amputee nonprofit group, Wiggle Your Toes. And then at from about 2 to 3 o'clock, we're going to have the first ever mobility clinic in the Rotunda of the Minnesota Capitol. We're excited that Nicole will be there to join us for every aspect of this day, and hopefully for committee hearings, as many as possible as we go through the process. The first item on our website is our call to action. So we took advantage of AOPA's letter writing campaign, which is actively in, people are participating in right now as we speak. We have the flyer for the March 13th day at the Capitol. We have on our website all kinds of information with regard to access directly to the bill, how you can contact your legislators, tips for meeting with legislators. Of course, our information, how to contact us. We have a page that goes to our corporate members, dues paying members, gold level, silver level, bronze level, corporate level, all the sponsors. And then we have our story. So we've really been working to add a handful, not too many, but pictures and a handful of patients being active, wearing their prosthetic devices, and some short stories there. So I invite you to visit. Again, it's msopp-mn.com. I think some of the key things I have taken away in the last 15 years of doing this work is that every state is different. So you really need to hone in on who the important leaders are in your particular state, whether you need an association or whether you need just a handful of very passionate individuals and a really good connection to a legislator. I mean, we've really seen it all, from that all the way to, full out, for us, we've got our society, we've got our nonprofit amputee group, and we like to try to go full guns here. So I don't want to take too much more time, Nicole. I'm very excited about the next 6 weeks, and I'm very happy that you will be here with us to share and to testify and in all the events. So I think that's it. Nicole, anything else to share? Oh, and yes, we just had our Commerce Department requires a 62J report be established, which is our fiscal note, so to speak, the social and fiscal impact. And so that was just released earlier this week. I sent it right over to Shanice and our small group leaders for so everybody can move nationally. So everybody's had a chance to look at it. Really glad that it was helpful for Shanice in her edits to her national document that she's using. And we'll see. We'll see. We have full support of the governor. So where it goes is yet to be determined. Anything else, Nicole?
I just want to stress.
Great work, Terry.
Go ahead, George.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, George.
I just wanted to stress the mobility clinic that you guys are planning for the Rotunda. I'm personally excited to be part of that, but I think that is just a really incredibly unique concept that I haven't heard anyone do before. So potentially if individuals are interested in modeling something after Minnesota, we're happy to share, pictures from that day and everything. But that's, kudos to you, Terry and Aaron and everyone at Wiggle Your Toes for coming up with that idea. I think that will be a great demonstration for individuals at the Capitol to see the, firsthand access. And I know when I was in New Mexico with Kyle, Kyle did an incredible job educating the lobbyists there. From Presbyterian Health Plan, which eventually came on in support of the bill. But Kyle, had his running blade on. He was running up and down the hall. And without that, they don't have any knowledge or any awareness of what actually is activity-specific care or what a prosthesis, really looks like. Some of these people have no knowledge. So just think that's great.
Yeah, we're pretty excited. We're hoping to have we think we'll have at least 50 to 70 people total there, and we're hoping to have at least 25 to 30 individuals with devices on at the mobility clinic. So we'll see. We'll see how it all goes. We're hoping and praying for good weather because that's a determining factor in Minnesota. And right now we don't have winter, so we'll just keep a good thought there too.
Absolutely. Well, Minnesotans are rough and ready for that kind of stuff. We can make it happen. All right, going to North Carolina, we've got Jen Robinson.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much. In North Carolina, we've got a group, a solid group of really passionate, knowledgeable people. Dana Glover's on this call. She's amazing. There's so many people involved. Sam, Nicole, you've been really, really helpful. And we've just learned so much from the other states that have made the progress. And so that's where we're at. We luckily got connected with, a senator in North Carolina that has personal experience with limb loss. And so you really can't beat that, him having a personal connection to the story. And so we're really excited about that as far as how it can help our initiative and sort of maybe fast track things. So where we're at right now is Sam, helped us put together for the senator to review legislation from other states. And the plan is to kind of pull everything that's worked in other states and fine tune that for North Carolina needs. We're collecting patient stories and trying to expand our network. So right now we're just sort of letting the senator, simmer on that information, but we're super excited. We don't have a lobbyist or anything, but since we have a senator just really advocating for this, I think we're hopefully in a unique position to make quick work of it. I don't know. That's it.
Yeah. Absolutely. That was an email that kind of gave me some goosebumps when I read that, of having the senator reach out without any prompt from really anyone. We're not exactly sure how he found out about So Everybody Can Move. That would be good to find out. But just because his daughter is recent amputee, has become familiar with this and wants to get involved. So that was pretty cool, and excited for our website to be out there, and hopefully that type of those type of connections will just have a ripple effect, and even more of those will come to the table.
So thank you for all your help.
Yeah, thank you, Jen. Great. Thank you for your leadership for North Carolina. And AOPA is having our National Assembly in Charlotte, North Carolina. So we're hoping to plan an event with you all on the ground, both for attendees of the assembly, but then also the local Charlotte, North Carolina community.
Super.
Awesome. All right, we've got about 10 minutes left in the call. A little less than that, but I think we can get through our states here. But just kind of be mindful of time as we're kind of closing in on the end of the call. We've moved these now to be an hour and 15 minutes, which I think is much better than our kind of hour previously. So we've got Vincent for Nebraska. I know you guys have some exciting news to share.
Yeah. So, wow, is it really echoing here? Okay. So Nebraska's really kind of hit the ground running. I have a work comp attorney that I was talking to who happened to know a senator. She managed to bring him to my clinic and we talked for an hour, and this was like week before Christmas. And in a couple of weeks managed to get a first bill drafted so we can do the Insurance Fairness Act to kind of set the baseline so everybody can move. So the bill has been introduced. We actually have a committee hearing date of Tuesday the 13th. And I just had a meeting this week to kind of gather some interest for Nebraska Coalition, because right now it is pretty much me running solo. But Sam Miller with AOPA has been awesome, really good resource for me, helping me kind of figure out what the next steps are and how to progress. We're going to have a website that is going to allow letter writing so we can email all of the members on the committee. So we're going to release that next week and see how many people we can drum up to show up on a very short notice, because we did not anticipate to be on the list for 2024 to have anything going yet. So yeah, we're really excited here.
Fantastic. Yes, that's great. You guys have a bill introduced and kind of having the foundational legislation that'll prepare you for adding this so everybody can move physical activity provisions.
Yeah. And I've got a local group. They're called Blade 5K now. Amputee Alliance of the Midlands, or Amputee Wellness Alliance of the Midlands. And they used to have a 5K just for providing running devices, and they're shifting their roles, but they're going to back this. And they're planning on doing a all amputee relay race for September. And we're going to use that, hopefully, if this bill goes through, for next year to kind of be our main media event to gather some more support in Nebraska.
Oh, nice. Fantastic. That's great. Kudos. Good work. I'm going to pass it off to Kaylee in Ohio.
Yeah, so Ohio is kind of at a little bit of a standstill. We've been working hard with Kyle to kind of reestablish some new connections in the state. We still have a primary sponsor, but we're searching for a co-sponsor kind of across the aisle. And we had thought we were making some good progress. One of the representatives that our primary sponsor recently passed a bill with, her main aide has a family member with limb loss and is very interested to get that rep involved, but our meetings keep getting rescheduled. So we're kind of still working on getting those meetings set up. We're setting up some hospital connections, trying to get see if we can follow the line of thought that other states have done here and see if we can steal their lobby. And then Kyle has set us up with some good connections with Pelotonia, which is a huge cancer fundraiser that takes over Columbus, and is going to give us some other good connections kind of in the same space. So we're kind of at a standstill, but still making some connections to move forward soon.
Great. It sounds like you guys are making some good progress with the additional connections with Kyle. And yeah, I just want to give a shout out and kudos to our state coaches who are helping for a number of the states to kind of push things along. All right, let's go to David for Tennessee.
Good afternoon, everybody. Real quickly, we this past week, both of our the bills were submitted to both the Senate and the House. In the Senate, it passed its first reading. In Tennessee, a bill has to be read 3 times to get passed. So we're a third of the way there on the Senate side. We were expecting to get it put into committee on the Senate side sooner than the House side, but it's actually been submitted to a subcommittee on the House side already when I just checked the calendar, so that happened. So things are moving along rather well and rather quickly for us. We're excited for that. On February 28th, the Disability Coalition for the state is having a day on the Hill, and we're going to participate in that and show up in force to help move and give exposure. And then we're also planning a limb loss awareness event on the Capitol for April. So we're excited for that opportunity. So that mobility clinic may be something that we look at. That was brought up, or that sounds like a great idea to help people understand what we do every day. Just as a point of reference, I've heard a couple people in regards to lobbyists and their state society. Anybody that wants to reach out to me, I just went through that. So Georgia, I know a couple of people in the state. That's where I originally came from. And so I may know some supporters for you there. And then also, if you want to discuss how we set up our system for hiring the lobbyists through our state society with the Orthotic and Prosthetic Professional Society without organizing a whole nother nonprofit. So anybody that would like to reach out to me on that, you're more than welcome to. I'll put my email in the chat, and people, we can go from there.
Great, that's super helpful. Thanks, David. Great update for you guys as well. All right, I think we've got a couple, 2 states left in terms of people who I see are on the call. And if I've missed anyone else, please let me know. But Oregon, we've got Dee on the call if you want to give an update.
Yep. I think our main focus is probably finding a lobbyist, either through the hospital system, or obviously that's super good, Marilyn, that you guys talked about doing the rehabilitation centers. So yeah, maybe I'll reach out to you guys and see how you approach them. Otherwise, we're looking for a senator, but not till 2025. And then this year we'll just work on community building and outreach.
Awesome. Thanks, Dee. And then we've got Julie for Utah.
Hi, afternoon, everybody. Just really quickly, we've been working with Angela Montgomery, of course, and we have organized our team. We have patient advocates. We have professional sponsors that we're working with. We had our kickoff set for February. We realized that was probably a little soon. So we've pushed that to April, just so we're very structured and ready to go. We don't want to misstep at this point and be excited, too excited. But we are moving along at a steady pace and really excited, and such great resources here on this team. And thank you for sharing all of your successes. That's incredibly helpful for us as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Julie. Did I miss anyone that wants to give an update? All right, so I think we'll wrap up the call here. I just want to say thanks to everyone for being on the call and sharing kind of your lessons learned and updates. If you wanted to connect with someone on here and didn't get their information in the chat, feel free to reach out to me, and I'm happy to connect you to anyone that you'd like to. And I just want to give a plug for our next Lead Advocate call, which will be on Friday, April 5th at 1 p.m. So we're doing bi-monthly calls now. I also wanted to share, since we're not having a call in March, if anyone will be at the Academy meeting in Chicago, we will be having a So Everybody Can Move panel there, and potentially in an informal gathering of So Everybody Can Move advocates. So if you're going to be at the Academy, let me know. Would love to see you in person and bring some of us together. So
Nicole?
thanks, everyone. Yeah, Peter.
I'm sorry to interrupt when you're wrapping up here. Did you, when I was not on the call at the beginning, did you talk about the MPK policy that they announced at Medicare?
No, we didn't mention that. Would you like to share
May I
that?
take just 30 seconds? This is important. March 2nd is the deadline for comments to a new policy that the Medicare program has put forward, a local coverage determination, which would apply across the United States for Medicare beneficiaries to cover fluid, pneumatic, and microprocessor prosthetic knees for K2 amputees. Right now, those are only covered for K3 and above. Those are unlimited community ambulators. They're proposing to cover those knees those are advanced technology knees for limited community ambulators, which would help a much less functional set of patients within the Medicare program get access to these important technologies. it's important that people submit comments. We're going to be sending around some draft talking points and things to comment, and would encourage you to take a look at that. Maybe we can send that around to this advocacy group. I know it's not exactly so everybody can move, but there's a lot of states that have restrictions for these kinds of technologies. I think this is going to start to chip away at that, and this might be the next after so everybody can move, the next campaign that we try to take on this. So just want to make sure everyone was aware of that. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. Thanks, Peter, for sharing that. We're happy to share that in the follow-up. I think it's an incredible update, and it's also in the spirit of so everybody can move and, you know, gaining access to care. So absolutely. Well, thank you, everyone, and we will see you at our next call. We'll send out the recording and notes from this, but we'll see you on April 5th. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Nicole.
Great work.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, everyone.
Nice job, Nicole. Thank you.
Good job.
Thanks, Carrie. See you soon.
Bye, everyone. Have a great
Bye.
weekend.